Hello. I am back with Chicory. We are doing some more nonsense with this game. This is a different category that I ran from ASM. I'm doing Chicory all chapters here, which is a little bit longer, shows off a bit more of the game, and is generally a fun time. I just ate a cookie, so I'm going to say that my favorite food is cookies, and we are going to get started. So, as I said, this is Chicory All Chapters. Aim of this category is the game is broken into sort of 10 chapters and then a sort of final section. And so rather than just getting to the end, we need to beat all chapters and then get to the end. Already there's a bunch of stuff going on here. Probably the most important one to talk about is that we have this very powerful button that is skip cutscene. Which obviously skips cutscenes, also skips scene transitions. The other important thing to note is that we are going to be clipping out of bounds a lot in this game. That was something called cafe clip, because we go into a cafe and then we clip. Most of this run is finding ways to clip out of bounds in different situations. I should note as well, I'm running on the original version of this game, so patch 1.0, because it's a little bit more broken. Cafe clip eventually got patched out. And also there's going to be something that I'm doing a lot of later called jump clip, which got patched out. So that's fun. Furniture placement is also a very important thing in this run because it lets us do a lot of busted clips. Here I'm using this bed, in theory, to clip back in bounds. Sometimes it does that, and frankly, I don't know why. There we go. So, we've seen the power of furniture letting us clip through walls. That's going to be a recurring theme through the run. Here I am getting my transit pass, which is going to let me fast travel, and also is going to let me unlock the camera, which is really important because it lets me do camera storage, which is this. So we just quit out the menu, opened the camera, and took a photo in the main menu. And that teleports us to the starting room, which is very, very useful because the starting room is very central. That was also our first boss fight. Quick camera storage again. You're going to see me do camera storage a lot. Yes, that was our first boss fight. And you might have noticed that we are now apparently in chapter 4, and you might be thinking, but Red, you said that we were doing all of the chapters, and I sure did. I just didn't say that we were doing them in order. So we're going to do the game in all sorts of strange orders just for the sake... Oops, wrong room there. Just for the sake of things being faster. Which means that the numbers that the chapters come up with are going to be a little unintuitive. Here's our first instance of jump clip. So when we beat that last boss, we unlocked the ability to jump, which is a little bit faster, and it also lets us jump over obstacles, and in some cases, walls count as obstacles, so we can just jump to get out. Now, you may have noticed that the last boss fight and also that room there felt a little bit anticlimactic. That is because... One second. Oh, I didn't split. Interesting. Did I? I don't know what's going on. What are these splits? Where was I? Yes, the boss fights are a little bit anticlimactic because this game has a whole lot of accessibility features built in. You can choose to just not want to play boss fights. And you can also choose there's some pretty intense themes in this game of depression and burnout. And so they have got essentially trigger warnings built in to be like, hey, this scene's going to deal with some potentially triggering stuff. Do you want to skip it? So we are making use of all of those accessibility features because not only are accessibility features great for inclusion, they are great for speed. Some banger music here. All the music in this was written by Lena Rain, who is an incredible video game composer. And so it's nice when we get to listen to her jams. Little bit of a finicky jump clip here. It's been causing me some difficulty recently. There we go. Whoop. I thought I had it. There, we're good. Great. So we're back out of bounds. Nice thing about the scene transitions here is all of the ledges are a little bit offset, I think just coincidentally, which is really useful because it lets us move around very easily. Alright, now we're in a completely different zone. We are zooming across here. This is underground, we're in Bugland. And we are just moving across so that we can get here, do another jump clip, get back out of bounds, skip another boss fight, and where are we? Chapter 5, apparently. I keep forgetting to clip, or to split rather, or keep forgetting to, I don't know. Tricky thing about learning this run is that at the end of each section you teleport back to the same area, and so looking at my splits is the only thing that keeps me sane and remembering here's what my next thing I need to do is. Speaking of next thing to do, I need to remember to place a bed here. I keep forgetting to do that, so I'm going to place the bed. The way that I'm going to do that here is... Great, first try. I need to place that mid-scene transition to get it up in the top left of that corner. It is where I'm not meant to be able to place the bed. But because I do it in scene transition, it's not checking collision properly. That bed is going to be really important later. Anyway, at this point, we are just going down a whole lot. We have been tasked to do several trials at this point in order to prove... Please, there we go. Prove ourselves as a wielder. So we are going to skip the trials. Do them. Here you're meant to paint a self-portrait. Obviously that's slow. So I just skipped through it. But I think a fun donation incentive at this point would be to get someone from speedruns or from the crowd or whatever to spend a couple of minutes doing a self-portrait. Seems fun. And is a great way to run down the timer a little bit and keep things more intense. Through this section, it is dark, but great news. The camera is all powerful and not only lets us teleport, it has filters. This section's meant to be all dark, but we've got a negative filter that we can turn on. And that lets us see again, because the opposite of darkness is being able to see. Or, you know, something like that. Some would say the opposite of darkness is light. Those people would be cowards. So, doing some dark out-of-bounds platforming here. That takes us to another boss. We're going to skip that boss. Now we're here. We're going to do... This jump also is patched out in later versions of the game for obvious reasons. Because you shouldn't be able to make that gap. But now we're here. Chicory gives us some flowers, so we're going to plant those. Cool, that's another trial complete. And now we are coming up to the most technically difficult skip in the run. So I call this trick Celeste because in terms of the gameplay, we are meant to climb a mountain. And, you know, I'm familiar with another game with music by Lena Raine in which our protagonist deals with self-doubt and depression and climbs a mountain. So I'm on my way to said mountain right now. We are going to see very little of the mountain because, as I mentioned, we have a big clip coming up called Waterfall Clip. Which, unsurprisingly, involves us clipping our way up a waterfall. So, we got 3 plants at the start, which is good because I need to do exactly 3 clips with my plants. So that's the last one that goes there. Did I place that right? Should work. There we go. Cool. So I'm going to color in this bit of waterfall. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to color that in. I'm going to color in a little bit of ground down here. And now... Oh, come on. There we go. We just clip under that wall and we can just go up next to the waterfall. And this skips a long platforming section. So now we are at the top of the mountain. If only my Celeste speedruns were that fast. Alright, and that is the last trial. So we are sort of into the end game at this point. So we're going to go into the sort of scary end boss land. We have gained the ability to open up these vines. And now through this section here, we just need to sort of go across a whole lot of screens. And I'm going to be doing a lot of jumping because I can't paint on the ground, which I don't think I mentioned earlier. We unlocked the ability to swim in our paint, which is the fastest method of moving, but that doesn't work on the black surfaces. So I got to just do a lot of jumping. Also, as we go through this section, our main character, Cookies, is getting increasingly scared and trepidatious and walking really slowly, but the jumping speed remains the same. So this makes things a whole lot faster. We're going to have a battle with evil version of ourselves, take out some eyes. Round 2, one of the eyes grows teeth and eats our paintbrush, which, you know, is a sad time for everyone. So now we're depressed. But we still have camera storage. So we've lost our brush at this point, which means I've lost all of my brush abilities, which means I can't jump, I can't do jump clips anymore, I can't swim. But I've got this bed that I placed earlier, so I can just sit on that bed and despite having no abilities, we can still clip out of bounds. There's a bit of an invisible box around that tree, but it doesn't exist from above. And now we are heading into the final boss fight. So, just need to head down through a few more screens, and then we're going to get into our final boss fight, which once again, we're just going to skip, because doing boss fights is slow. So, couple of skip boss fight inputs I have to do, and that's the end of the run. In the meantime, we listen to Lena Rain's bangers. That's 1, that's 2. And that's time. So yeah, that's Chicory all chapters. Should be a fairly consistent at this point, high 11, low 12 minutes. I'm hoping I can get it down even further. But as I mentioned, I'm keen to do a donation incentive to get someone to paint a self-portrait for, let's say, 2 minutes, which should take it up to a pretty tight 15, and hopefully will create some drama. Cool. That's the game.